Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of The Watchmen, Season 1, Episode 4. If you don't like my story, write your own. Which I loved. I think that's a great line. This episode was amazing. Like, it was really, really well done. Kind of gave me a lot to think about, and it introduced a lot of really interesting both concept and characters. Like, I'll tell you, the whole opening scene was amazing with, Madame True, and just her showing up, and she's like, I made you a baby. You have 30 seconds to sell me your house, or I'll destroy the baby. And just their look on, like, when they look at her, and she's just like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, I'll give it a good home. Stuff like that. Like, the whole scene was great. And then just the meteor crash at the end. Like, they don't really give you a timeline of when this takes place. Like, at least if they did, I missed it. I mean, you could tell it was the past. So it'll be interesting to see, like, how that develops. I loved when Sister Night, like, breaks into the center and just the whole, like, the family acorn, the ancestry, like, stuff like that was great. It actually kind of gives me a little bit of hope, like, for the future. My mom was adopted, so I don't know anything about that side of my family. And I've thought about looking into it, but it's also one of those, like, I mean, I'm in my 30s. Like, when she passed away, she was in her 50s. And so it just seems like one of those, like, who knows? Maybe I could have other, like, relatives out there, but at this point, is it really worth, like, looking into? So, I don't know. So I love that scene though, when like she drops the acorn in there and then the tree just like kind of grows and she's able to like click and pick like who she wants to like look at and stuff like that. So I thought that was all really, really awesome. It connects to the last episode where Laurie was walking and then the car just falls. So it kind of picks up right there with now Angela and Laurie being together. And she's like, yeah, that's my car, and stuff like that. The whole, like, heaven is pretend scene was really intense. Like, I was kind of surprised they even included it. I mean, granted, this is not a show to, like, pull back on their punches or anything, but still, it was kind of interesting to just be like, nope, heaven's not real. And I was like, wow, like, that's pretty brave. Seeing Looking Glass's, like, little room and everything, like, I'll admit, that line made me laugh, where she's like, he was racist, and he's like, he was a white man in Oklahoma, like, no shit, and I was just like, wow, like, again, not pulling back on the punches for this show. I have no idea what the fuck was going on with, like, the Silver Man and the lube, basically, and to just slide into the sewer. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I just saw It Too not too long ago, but I was expecting, like, Pennywise to just jump out at any second. The Will's fingerprints, stuff like that, being in the car, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're going to see this connection here. And she even talks about Laurie, where she's like, yeah, like, there was fingerprints everywhere, but there was this guy named Will, who was a cop back in the 50s, which I don't know if we knew about. And so we're learning more about Angela's grandpa, so I thought stuff like that was great. Finally, the big twist, the thing that I really kind of had to sit down and think about, was when Laurie and Angela are driving, and then, like, her little sidekick guy tells the story about Laurie. And because she's like, oh, all heroes, like, become heroes because of a trauma. Like, something happens, and then that's what makes you put on the mask, and that's what makes you become a hero. And then that's when she's like, well, tell Angela about my trauma. And he tells the story of, like, the Watchmen and the Minutemen, and, like, how the comedian tried to rape the original Silk Spectre, and then they actually did have the baby, which was Laurie. And then, like, at first, I was like, why would that be Laurie's trauma? And then I kind of put it together slowly in my mind, where, like, Laurie is actually kind of like the reverse hero, because Laurie was born into being a hero, because her mom was already the Silk Spectre. So as soon as Laurie was born, like, that was basically all she knew. And then afterwards, when she became an adult and she found out about, like, her mom and the comedian, that's when she basically retired from being a hero and joined the FBI. So that was her trauma, because she joined the FBI, not that she became a superhero. It's because she stopped being a superhero. So it's almost like a reverse trauma. I thought it was really kind of interesting. It's kind of like the whole like story of like Superman is always Superman. Clark Kent is the disguise. Like the Silk Spectre was who she was. When she became Laurie Blake, that's when she became the superhero. That's when she joined the FBI and wanted to make a difference. So, I don't know. It gave me a lot to think about. So I really like that. Seeing Adrian again, like the whole him like throwing out the babies, and I was like, oh, that's like twisted as fuck. And then growing the butler and the maid and stuff, and then just seeing his killing spree, I was like, that's insane. And it kind of got a little more like depth to it, because I just assumed, I didn't really think too much about it, that he was on like a retreat. Like he basically was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just gonna go like live in the middle of nowhere with my weird little clone family and call it a day. No, he's actually like in prison. He's in some sort of captivity, assuming by Dr. Manhattan, don't actually know. And he's been there for like 4 years. And you can actually watch him like catapult the people and them disappearing. So it's like, where is he? Like, is he on Mars? Who knows? So I think it's really kind of interesting to watch his character develop more now. And he's actually less crazy now. Because, I mean, him being alone for 4 years, except for these weird clone families, it's really kind of interesting. And then Madame True and Will TikToking together at the end. Like, this show's off the hook. Like, there's so much shit going on. And it's a short season. It's only like 10 episodes. We're like halfway through. So I feel like every episode like ups the ante a little bit. We're only on episode 4 and shit's just going crazy. So for those who have seen it, what did you guys think? What are you guys looking forward to for the second half of the season? Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time for Little Fear of Lightning.